So today we are going to cook chocho and saltfish with boiled dumplings. It's been a really long time since I had this dish, but I got my hands on some chocho the other day, so I'm giving it a go. We're gonna cook some Jamaican cornmeal dumplings too. Perfect pairing. Before I start, though, I want to thank everyone for subscribing. The channel has grown significantly in the past 2 weeks. I really appreciate the support. If you're new here, you can subscribe too. I have a lot in store, so hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. So when I went to Mandeville the other day, I got some chocho from relatives. It's a really productive plant, so I got a few. Chocho also goes by the name Christophene, Chayote, Choko, and many others, depending on where you are in the world. But if you're in Jamaica, it's just chocho. When the fruit is mature enough, they sprout from the bottom. I'm going to be planting these two. Chocho is a really easy plant to grow and take care of. They don't need much attention. I also got these thyme plants when I was in Mandeville. I'm planning to start working on my herbs garden again. Just going to grab a bit of this to cook with later. Alright, so let's get cooking. I'm starting with the saltfish. I rinsed off some of the salt already and I'm going to be boiling this in a generous amount of water. This is about quarter pound of saltfish. I'm adding half a scotch bonnet pepper and a piece of thyme to start flavoring the saltfish. I'll let that boil for like 10 minutes. While that's going, I'm going to make the dough for my boiled dumplings. Now, for that, we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half cup cornmeal, and salt to taste. This is about half a teaspoon. You could use more cornmeal and less flour for a dumpling that has more texture, but I personally like this ratio. The next step is to mix everything together and gradually add water to form a dough. Just knead until the flour is fully hydrated. This might take anywhere from 4 to 8 minutes. That looks ready, so we will let it rest and check in on our saltfish. Saltfish done cook, so I'll rinse it with cold water and clean it up. That means removing all the bones and skin and anything that's not fun to eat. If you have seen any of my saltfish recipes, you know I like to leave saltfish chunky. Don't flake it too much or you will end up with fish that's too small. I'll set that aside while I boil the dumplings. So now we need water and I'll salt it to taste. Cover and let it come to a boil. Putting dumplings in cold water makes them slimy. Let your water boil. While that's going, I'll make the dumplings. Pull off a piece of the dough, fold it over onto itself, roll it like this in the palm of your hands till it's smooth, then you want to press it flat. Repeat this until all the dough is done. Now these are standard size dumplings. It's popular in Jamaica to make them much larger. We call them cartwheels. If you want to make cartwheel dumplings, just use more dough and make them bigger. I'm not a fan of cartwheel dumplings though, but I love that that's a thing. Perfect. Water is bubbling. We want to carefully drop in each dumpling. Remember to be cautious because that steam can give you a nasty burn. If the water was not boiling, the dumpling will dissolve a little and make the water cloudy and the dumplings end up slimy. Ensure you give the dumplings a spin or else they will stick to the bottom of the pot. And we boil this for like 10 minutes while we prep the chocho. So the first thing we'll do to our chocho is peel it. If the chocho is really young and immature, you can skip this step. But this chocho is a bit more mature and the skin is really fibrous, so we want to get rid of that. A paring knife is perfect for getting into those ridges. So contrary to what most people say, chocho does have a distinct flavor. It's just really mild. Think of cucumber or squash. It's crisp, very crunchy, and very juicy. Next, we cut it in half to reveal the seed. It's not really tasty and is surrounded by a bit of fibrous flesh, so we want to remove that as well. Again, a paring knife is perfect for doing this kind of work. Next, I'm going to slice these. I want some thick strips. I'll slice off a bit so I can stabilize it on the cutting board. I'm not really interested in cutting myself. Then I will give it some thick slices. After that, I'm just laying the slices flat and slicing again like this. You can slice it any way you want though. I just like this cut. Alright, so next I'm prepping the rest of the vegetables. I'm slicing half of a medium onion, half a red sweet pepper to add some contrast in color. Everything is kind of green. Carrot. It should be roughly the same size as a chocho or slightly smaller. It takes a bit longer to cook. Thyme from the garden. The other half of that scotch bonnet pepper. A few cloves of garlic. Give them a nice smash so they mince easier. Tomatoes. I got these cherry tomato from my mommy. Just cut them in half. If you don't have a mommy with cherry tomato, just use whatever cooking variety tomato you can find. A few sprigs of scallion. Just chop that up. And now for the secret ingredient, dried pimento. So powerful it's knocking over the camera. Alright, I keep on forgetting that a mortar and pestle works well for this, but I'm used to doing all my prep on the cutting board with knives. Just get that really small, and that's all the stuff we need for the sauteed chocho. Nice, dumpling ready. One of them still did a stick, but that's alright. Finally, we can cook the chocho and saltfish. We need to be a bit more generous with the oil for a proper saute. So the camera was not recording while I was sauteing the saltfish and the seasonings. But you didn't miss much though. I added everything except the chocho and sweet pepper to the ripping hot pot first to get a proper saute. Then I added the chocho after I had some good flavors going. It should have looked something like this. This is from my ackee and saltfish video the other day, but same principle. Anyways, let that cook for 3 or so minutes. I still want the chocho to have a nice bite to them when I'm done. Next, add half cup of coconut milk and let that simmer. The flavors are really melding now and that smells so good. Meant to bring it to another level. I like to add the sweet peppers later after I build up all the delicious flavors. I reduce this to concentrate all those flavors and finally add the cherry tomatoes. I wanted these just barely cooked. That is it right there, Jamaican chocho and saltfish. It smells so good and it's bringing back some really good memories. Now, let's give it a taste. Before making this video, I didn't know that people eat every single part of the chocho plant. Leaves, roots, stem, everything. But it just I think we eat the fruit and that's it. Have to go check that out. Not a lot of things are as pleasurable as two hot cornmeal dumplings fresh out of the pot. This is the texture I love my dumpling to have. The dumpling I grew up in a good neighborhood and got good school. Yeah, that is it. The coconut milk and the pimento give this a really nice flavor that's uniquely Jamaican. The fresh thyme and little spice from the scotch bonnet pepper complement it perfectly. The dumpling texture nice. The chocha have a little crunch and the saltfish still a shine. This is really delicious. If you have access to two chocha, just give this one a try for me and let me know how it go in the comments. She give me cherry tomato, so half a pack a box for mommy. It's really a sin to not share good food.